Not that there's anything wrong with that, he just didn't understand what I was going to do. So he's like, find one that I can afford and we'll go and talk. And ended up doing that and graduating. And I want to say too now that I'm started, if there's any questions, this is a conversation we can have. So go to the school for photography, we graduated, and I met my wife at college and fell in love. And the minute we both graduated, we were like, we are out of here. And we drive to Colorado, and you know, this is pre-internet, but there's this whole vibe going on with snowboarding, and it was really booming, and we were young, and we went to Breckenridge, Colorado, and settled, put up some stakes there, and got a job at this cool place called Solid Snowboards, and we were making snowboards, and the president of the company was 25 years old, and we spent the Japanese investment or investment banker's money to finish the prior year. Long story, it just didn't happen. And then we get headhunted to start another snowboard factory here in Oregon. And I swear this will get to photography soon. So then we end up in Oregon to help start this company, and it just never gets its investment and gets off the ground. And we're like, shit, we're stranded. You know, and I think we went for about a week or 10 days of going, what the fuck are we gonna do? You know, and you look around and you're in Portland, Oregon, and you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. You know, it's amazing. Actually, you know, once you stop. And at that moment, I decided to never do anything with the board industry again. And I went to school for photography, so I just started assisting and started knocking on doors and had, you know, just telling people if they got home late, I would come and put their gear away, like anything I could do. And yeah, so you know, it was just I think it was survival at that point is where this is going, is that you know, you start assisting, you start learning the ropes. I knew where I wanted to go, but it was a weird time. It was like right before the internet, still doing, everything's analog, you know, still processing film, you're still printing prints, but then the internet's coming, you know, and I remember doing help shooting a catalog for a snowboard company at the time, and it was like, the camera was like, seriously, I'm not kidding, like 13 megabytes or something. It was a $25,000 camera, and every image you took 47 minutes to process. And you could, like, you know, you could print it 2 by 2. So, but we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming, and that's how. So that's how I got to be in Portland, and that's, I think, now about 17 or 18 years ago. And I'm so glad that I got back into it, and all those things will become apparent. So then through the survival, I start, you don't realize you're just surviving, so you're taking jobs, and at the time I didn't realize that I wasn't cultivating a brand image, or you're just trying to get one job to the next, and a lot of them weren't making sense, you know. So you get to a point, as you can see, like over a decade, this is like probably 2009-ish, I'm like, I'm doing a bunch of prints to make a portfolio, and I'm looking and designing, and it's funny because when I looked at these going through my stuff, I'm like, this is awesome, this is a perfect illustration. A bunch of really awesome, well done photographs that make no sense together. More money or attract more people, and I feel like this thing that I'm a part of, everything's so different, and people are just throwing out wild, crazy ideas, so unless you're really in control of it, you know, shooting a astronaut floating in a pool, naked man running. These are all jobs, you know, paying jobs. Even animals, bears, dogs. So at this point, I got to a spot where I'm like, it was a decade, a quick decade that went by, and I'm at the end of I feel like I'm just kind of at a dead end, and everything's digital now, 100%. Social media has gone crazy. I kind of had no brand identity, even though that I didn't really realize it at the time. It was just like, I just really didn't know how to hustle myself anymore. And like for 10 years, making money, you know, had kids, bought a house. But I could feel it, like the wind wasn't in the sails anymore, and just like I said, I had a pile of really nice images that didn't really make any sense, and trying to figure out what people wanted or what they were thinking, you know, and just completely blowing it at this point. So for myself and my sanity, I was kind of just done, and I started putting together a book, and it was just I just have always gone, like, grew up around hot rods and motorcycles. motorcycles. I went to drag races every week, and just for myself, these are the things I photographed and never shown anybody because I felt like it had some social connotation, or nobody wanted to see it, or how do hot rods relate to shoes? We live in the shoe capital of the world. I'm not going to really show this. So I started working on this book, which is funny. When I pulled this up, and it was called Trophy, and it was just a bunch of images that I'll go through of just my going to these car shows, and this is my kind of guy here. Car shows, and if you see something across the street, you run over and grab it. You're at drag racing events. Just stuff that I was really inspired by, and I was totally just doing this for myself. And then, at this point, Whiting Kennedy, who was a client of mine, advertising agency, asked if I would do a show in their lobby, which, in my position, two things: super exciting, and you're just blown away, and you're just super happy. And then the other thing is terrifying, because images, editing, and then got a bunch of stuff together that kind of made sense. And I'm like, okay, we're somewhere, it's still not art, what do I do? So for the first time in 12 years, I produced a shoot with my own money because I had an idea I feel like the first time in my life. It's an incredible feeling when you have an idea. And we produced this shoot that kind of tied the loose ends up between the photos that I wanted to show. And there was guys from friends of mine from car clubs, drag racing community, chopper community, and we did this show called Throttle, and it was, I did everything I could scrapping to put it together, and this is such an amazing part of something that happened to me. So we do the show, I got to get a friend of mine who's an art director, Eric Pete, and we assemble all these photos, and we go to Premier Press, which is a printing place in Portland. My wife and I pitched them the idea that this is at Whiting Kennedy, you guys can put your name on it. I have no money for printing, but if you print this, we'll broadcast your name. They sign on. So we hang this stuff, and to scale, we print these giant images of stuff that I've never shown anybody before, and we're thinking at this point, this is awesome, and no one's gonna show up. So we fill out this lobby, and I felt really good about it. It had a voice, there was a story. It was the first time I've ever done anything like that, and people show up, and it was insane. We had, that night we had permitted the front street, so what we did was we got all my hot rod buddies and all my motorcycle buddies to come fill the front of the street like a mini car show, and inside there's beer and people. It was like a first Thursday, so it was like a great culture clash of hot rodders and bikers and art people, and it was insane. It's so insane, and there's just some close-up images. Such a great thing for somebody that was literally in a basement of depression, 4 to 6 months before that, and having no clue where to go in his life.
It was a great show. It was a great event.
Were you there?
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I've never thought of doing anything like that.
It was a great event. The street was full. The place was full.
It was bananas.
Yeah.
I really thought no one was coming. I thought if we got 40 people, we'd be lucky. So these are just some of the close-up images. And like I said, here's one of the shots that this was supplemented. But what we did at my friend's motorcycle shop, I mean, it's true to the lifestyle. So there's a guy that I met through these connections in Colorado, calls me up, he's like, we're gonna jump this freaking Camaro. I need somebody here to do photos of it. So it's literally me, Whitey, Scott, my friend Scott Manning. Can't even imagine, remember, there might have been another person or two. And it was for Pro Snowboarders part of this movie. We're in Bend, Oregon. We literally stuffed a 2x4 in between the seat of this car and the gas pedal and launched it off this cliff. And I'm down there, and this is film actually, so this is even before digital, shooting slide film, and I get this image, and it's awesome. They use it for the poster of the movie, and like I said, the light bulb had not gone off yet. I put this away. This just goes away. It goes into the slide sleeve, and it just gets, who's gonna wanna see that? Nike's not gonna wanna see that. Adidas is not gonna wanna see that. What's this gonna do? So this is funny. So about right when this show was happening, the Throttle show, one of the nucleuses for that was when he called me. He's like, hey, I found these slides. serendipitous, like it's nuts, and such a powerful image that hard to believe that I put it away, you know, so, yeah, I'm gonna skip that, I think, but this is kind of cool. Then it kind of catches on and it goes to this is just such an intimate crowd, but it's funny because this will show, like, so it catches on, and I have friends through the snowboarding community that have a clothing company called Commune in Los Angeles, and they want to bring it down, so they bring the show down, and then they throw this whole party, and then me and my wife go down, and it's insane. So this is a little recap of it, and hopefully it'll load up here. Wait, let's see if we can do it. And it's a little heavy on the it's a little heavy on the attitude, but it just goes to show. It goes to show that you can just have a thought. You can have a thought, and it just like runs wild. And then there's the internet needs. There's so much room for content. So I don't know what the sound's gonna be like.
Yeah.
Oh, of course it's not gonna work.
Sweet.
It's rad. I don't know. It's not that important. Anyways,
It's going.
is it?
It's loading up.
I
You have
know.
to hit play again.
I know, but is it gonna? Hopefully it'll run through. So this is something they produced. Yeah, and then it comes and it's this, and they have the motion of this that they just finally used, and this is like 2 years ago. And more of this stuff. But you know, so the point is, you know, the work starts happening, and it's so weird that, was I sitting on this that whole entire time, or did it just happen because, you know, I don't know. It's a fortunate thing, you know, and then, you know, of doing lineups of the whole Dodge, you know, lineup, which is far away from shooting astronauts swimming in a swimming pool. Come on, Dr. Dre.
Well, that's cool.
Right? Got to hang out with Dre. It was terrifying. He had giant prison muscles and dudes around him with prison muscles. And he's never been in prison, but he had the muscles. Yeah, I mean, so I mean, you can kind of see that, like, it's. I think you dig deep and you find yourself, and I think it has a lot to do with being fortunate, but I also think it has to do a lot with sticking around with one thing to where luck knows where to find you when it rears its head, kind of thing, and everything just kind of lines up. So we even got to blow up cars, and there was a campaign that got shelved, but they had cars from 1912 all the way up through like 73, I think, and they detonated them all down the line, and it was sad to watch, and I think that's probably why it ended up getting shelved. But I mean, come on, how far? This is insane. Like, it was really fun. Weasel my way in with ZZ Top. Doing a job with Jeremiah Weed Sweet Tea, which is just another car thing, which is, this is kind of a funny story to tell about.
That's a great job.
Once you find yourself, I fly to Austin to do this job for Jeremiah Weed Sweet Tea, and Jesse James has a hot rod factory there called Austin Speed Shop that he bought, and I just had never been, so I get off the airplane and I'm just like, I got some time to kill, so I run over to Austin Speed Shop. I walk in, and the guy Rocco at the counter is like, hey, can I help you? And I'm like, just a looky-loo from Portland, Oregon, you know, and he's like, oh, cool. And I'm like, hey, my friend Cody from Hearst Racing Tires said to tell Rocco hi, and he's like, oh, hey, I'm Rocco. And he's like, what are you doing in town? And I'm like, oh, I'm here to shoot ZZ Top tomorrow. He's like, Billy Gibbons is in the back. I was like, oh, shit, no, that's cool. He's like, yeah, come on, say hi. So I go back there and meet Billy Gibbons, which in the advertising world is kind of, maybe not a no-no, but just super awkward, you know. I'm like telling him, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. He's a super cool car guy because his car's there. He's just super into cars, racing tires. A guy named Cody, and he's like, hey, we're doing a one-off set of tires for this 1950s show car. Can you photograph this car in the studio? And I was like, sure. So we went in and lit this car really nice. Ended up looking like a model. It's got this one-off set of 1950s white wall with a Cove, really beautiful tires on it. Get to talking about this Bonneville trip, and he's like, I want to go. And I was like, kind of a vision quest, solo mission. I just met you, man. This isn't good. We're not fist fighting at a Burger King on the side of the road. It's too important to me. And I didn't hear from him, so I'm getting ready to go. And about 3 days before we leave, Cody calls and, hey, remember me? And I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, hey, I know you said no, but Russ, the guy that owned the car, races a car at Bonneville, and he's not not going. They couldn't get it ready. He's like, I have a room at the Motel 6. It's air conditioning. You're sleeping in your van. It's 112 degrees. You should. I'll trade you the room for the ride, or we'll all sleep. And I'm like, oh shit. all right, cool. And it could have went either way. And long story short, a 10-hour drive. Him and I hit it off and became really great friends. We had a lot of the same interests. Talking about everything besides cars was awesome because that's one thing I didn't want. Like, oh man, we're just gonna talk about engine sizes and transmission gears. And we talked about love and careers and cooking, and it was just unbelievably cool. And again, reaching outside of your comfort zone, taking a chance, and it completely working. And I didn't get like murdered or raped on the side of it that I know of. So this is Cody. And he's awesome, and he's my good friend now. And we, like I said, we went to this trip, and these are all just personal images of being out on the salt. These guys going upwards of 500 miles an hour on the salt. The car is 12,000 horsepower. See the twin superchargers. It was insane. It's a George Petit. That's like there's some dumb number of money in that car. But then there's stuff like this that, and I did this little story after I got home called Hot Rods in Space, because you really did feel like you were out on the moon. And it's kind of a non-sanctioned, it's sanctioned by a race committee, but it's not, there's no advertising, so there's no sponsor. So it's really grassroots, and a bottle of water is 50 cents and a hamburger is $3. And I mean, you're just out on the moon, you know? It was like, you know, I felt like it was me coming out of my shell, finding what I wanted to do, and exploring, like, hey, if I put a little in, we're all kind of about, so I hope it works. Cross your fingers. This is a Hurst racing tire. It's built for power. It's built for traction. It's built for drag racing. This is a Hurst racing tire, and it's built for just about anything you can throw at it. This is Cody Adams. This is Steve Adams. Together they own and manufacture Hurst racing tires using all of the original equipment acquired by Ron Hurst himself. That's Ron. He started making Hurst racing tires in 1961 for the local racers in San Diego. Cody and Steve bought the business from Ron in 2005 and have been making tires ever since. How do you make a Hurst racing tire? First, you start with an existing tire. Lose the tread. Apply a thick single strand of brand new rubber. Cook the tire at 325 degrees in the original chambered molds. Wait 90 minutes. Maintain a high level of personal grooming. Pull it out of the matrix. Be careful, it's hot. Clip off these little things. Cut the tread. Drag slick, cheater, super cushion, whatever. And throughout the entire process, there's only two people who will ever touch your tire. Cody and Steve. It's what they do. While you were surfing the internet, Cody and Steve were building tires. And while you were making that dentist appointment, Cody and Steve were building tires. And while you were swapping out that Offie dual quad intake for a Jimmy 671 blower on your 392 Hemi, well, okay, Cody and Steve were probably building your tires. So that's the deal. Two guys, four hands, one amazing tire. Hurst Racing Tires. Handmade in Oregon City, Oregon, raced on tracks across the world. I love it. I can watch it over, not because I did it, I just love the burning tires. And,
They were pretty happy with it.
and you know, using my resources and rounding up people in the Utah area with cars. These are some of my friends from Reno, Nevada. Some of my friends from Portland. And all this stuff ended up jumping Camaro. You can make the leap here. So, you know, then the word just starts seeping out there, and now I'm like fully So this was from that shoot, and my dream shoot. This is where art meets commerce. This is actually it. You can feel the explosion. Living right on the line of it. So, anyways, it gets I absorb the money and I do it again because I see the promotional value in this. So we take the images and we go to LA and we do another show down there with the commune. And I just want to talk about this. So now all this stuff is picked up steam on the internet, which is just wonderful. It's like social networking, fashion blogs are running this stuff. There's like builder blogs. There's, it went from chopper guys and car guys and all these different, this guy, JP, who's now my friend from the salvage art, who gets a ton of hits every day on his website, was promoting my stuff along the way. And I just feel like he's just such a huge reason why anybody knows it. So yeah, we actually did do Throttle too. And let me see, where are we at here? And now, it's like, I guess, just at the end of this, it was like, we were talking about just doing something long enough. I've been at this now for, what has it been, man? 96, so what is that even? I don't even know, like 15 years or something, or longer, 20 years? Is it 20 years? And it just starts happening, and so many hard times and things along the way. We just got done shooting a Stetson thing that I'm really proud of, and this was all on Savi's Island with some of my friends, and our idea was with the hats flying off because you were having so much fun. And I'm going to leave it with another video that I directed. I don't know where it's going. I hope I get to do this for the rest of my life because I'm super inspired by it. I found inspiration. I think it's completely available to everyone. It's so bizarre that I overlooked it for so long, and showing every art director in the land stuff that meant nothing to me spiritually. For what reason, I have no idea, and then the minute, it sounds dumb coming out of my mouth, it sounds like I have some kind of learning disability, but you show them things that you're passionate about, and I think then they feel the passion, and that's probably why things happen. But so yeah, we did this little project with Stetson USA. Stokes. my presentation for now. I just really wanted to wrap it up saying thank you. And I mean, I guess the point is like just being true with yourself and believing in yourself. And I think every single person has the magic and the genius. If something, if it happened to me, I'm super happy. I feel like every day the absurdity of this part of the title of this is every job I feel like is the last one, which I think is great anxiety, and I truly believe it. I'm like, this can't happen again. This is the biggest one, and then another one will happen. So living each day like it's your last, and I wish I had more profound ways of putting things, but staying true and authentic and being honest, and I think all those things were the formula for a good thing that has given me a lot of inspiration. And I want to thank these guys at Hand & Eye Supply for having me, the Curiosity Club, and thank my wife for putting up with my manic insanity through this whole entire life. And that will conclude my talk, but I would love to answer any questions or converse with you guys, and we can take a bigger break or we can just hash it out.
Do you have anything that you're doing right now that you can talk about, or any like events that you might be showing up at, take pictures, or
Events?
Like, we could see it.
What's that?
Jim's in the audio gallery tomorrow.
To promote it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. My friend Jim Riswald, who's one of the partners of Wyman Kennedy, is having an art show to help leukemia and cancer through OHSU tomorrow. It's at the Ogden Gallery. I think it starts at 6 o'clock. He's awesome. He's one of my good friends, and he's beat cancer twice. And Dr. Drucker, who we're lucky to have here in Oregon, is going to be there. I think Phil Knight from Nike is putting up $500 million if they can raise another $500 million in 2 years. So this is a kickoff event for that to help really kick cancer's ass. So I did do the 1 year. It's good. And they got a Kickstarter for that, and they were able to publish those books. So now they got the money to publish the other 2 years, and it's exciting. It's fun when you give a shit about what you're doing. My buddy just had something painted on his van from the guy that lettered my car, and it says, which is kind of funny, I'll leave it with that, is he's like, it's not Mondays that suck, it's just your job. So yeah, anything else?
Do you want to try playing that video again? Because I want to see it.
No, because like it's so. I feel like that meme. I mean, yeah, it's great, and I'm really happy about it. But you can go to the Commune website. Those guys are awesome. I love them. I love their clothes. I love the guys there. It was just a recap of that, and I think I'm trying to be a little bit humble up here, and they made it look super LA, and it was, and just super fun. But I think it misrepresents me a little bit. So it was in there, but we could play it. I don't know. But anyways, thank you for having me and getting the internet working.
Yeah,
It's great.
totally. Just going out to the salt flats to shoot, like, I mean, obviously it's, it's an understatement to say it's really hot, but I mean, can you just describe that experience? Like,
It's the salt's actually wet, so if you put your knee down, your pants would get wet, but it encased your shoes like mud, so you're picking it up as you go. It's 109 degrees out. Everything's white, so it's reflecting 100% back up. It's super hot. There's no shade anywhere. I have actually a funny photo of a porta potty that's just like, there's no trees, there's nothing. It's brutal, They tell you not to wear shorts, like the sun will reflect back up and burn your beans, So you have to be fully covered and fully protected. That's why all these guys wear these big giant hats. But there's some kind of delirium that happens out there. And I've been reading about that place my whole life, and in books and Time Life and everything, it's always really serene and silent. You see Mickey Thompson breaking the 400-mile-an-hour speed barrier, and it's just kind of this epic, quiet thing. And then you get out there and you hear these Keith Black Hemis that are roaring, and you're holding your ears, and it's this visceral, brutal thing that's happening out there. And because it's so, these guys are coming from every walk of life, every financial status, trying to break these world records. You walk by the moon, I saw the moon tent, and there's the moon stream.
One car, and it's just so
I
amazing.
feel like everybody you meet out there feels like their dream is coming true at that moment. And it's like everyone's on burning man? Because everyone's like, just to get there is something amazing. Then you're on 25 square miles of flat earth that you can see the curvature, and it doesn't look like anything. And they say it's the flattest place on earth. And I was riding a bicycle around there because it's an easy way to get around, and it's so bizarre. Like you take one pedal, and it's like rolling a marble on a flat table. It's in some weird ways you just go because there's no incline, or it's crazy. It's pretty cool, and like like you said, there's people. It's an addicting thing. You watch The World's Fastest Indian. It was a great movie that represents it really well. Anthony Hopkins, and such a good movie to rent, but it talks about the whole addiction of trying to beat the record.
We were washing salt off forever. How did you deal with that with your equipment?
That's the other weird things. I was really careful with the cameras and stuff, but it gets into anywhere, everywhere. And I had a necklace on, and I wear a belt buckle, and I had this white T-shirt on. And it's funny because you're putting lotion on all the time because you're just panicked. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna burn. And then all of a sudden I had this big orange ring around my neck and a big orange ring around right here. And I'm like, I think I got some copper tone with like some skin toner in it or something. And then I realized that it was that salt in the air that was like taking the metal and just eating it, and then it's seeping in. So it's all over you. It's in the van, it's in the carpets. It took months to wash it. It was still falling off underneath, and vacuuming out. And rental car companies in there, when we did the Marlboro job, rental car companies will tell you right out that there's like a $300 fine for cleaning if you go to the salt.
Oh yeah, we
Which
washed
we
it
did.
so many times on the way home. But how did you deal with it in your equipment? I can't
I
imagine.
don't think I'm so anal about equipment. I've got Pelican cases that are air sealed, and I think it was like that. You know what I mean? And the camera that I carried around, I haven't suffered any consequences, but I didn't really notice any buildup, and I'm sure there probably was. But trying to keep the lens changing in the van, it's insane. It's everywhere, and you can just feel. You feel it. It's scratchy. You're like, oh, it's settling on me.
We couldn't even see the mountains when we were there. We were in this like white cloud.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then like the flash floods will come in, and then the place will flood out. Saturday night we were there. It's a lake. It's a lake bed, and it turned back into a lake. And the next morning, the sun comes out and just soaks back in, and wow, it's crazy. It's otherworldly.
So it's got like some source of water.
It's so far removed from 60 hours a week, and so I think it was hard for him. But now that he sees this is going on, my parents are, I think when I first started, one of the funny things I remember is I would hand in my portfolio, which is like your heart. At the beginning you're running around showing everybody you can show. And this is everything I've done. And my mom would look at the first page, close it, and then rub it. This is really nice leather. You have to look at it, Mom. She's like, I don't know what I'm looking at. So I think my parents are wonderful. They've been very supportive and amazing. And I think as I find inspiration and I'm able to explain it better and it's tied in, it's good. So yeah.
Well, now they're connected with your passion.
Yeah.
You're just showing it in a different way.
Well,
But
the
you're
cars
all
too.
into the cars.
Yeah.
The cars too.
My dad can understand it. My dad builds competition engines as a hobby, and he does these things called engine masters, where these nerds, him and his buddies and dudes all over the country, build motors for really high horsepower that never go into cars, and then they go to a dyno machine and they meet at some place, and then they dyno, and whoever has the most horsepower within the rules, and that 51 Chevy of mine, my father built the motor for, and he builds Pontiacs for his competitions, but my mom had a 73 Impala wagon when I was growing up, so everywhere we went, vacations or to the dentist, we just drove this Impala wagon, and it had this 400 small block, and then when my dad scrapped it in about 1980, he took that motor out, and he's like, that's got a lot of cubic inches, and so he tossed it under a workbench, and the weight tells it he's skinned his shin on it for 30 years, and had that thing on a crate or a pallet several times to go to the dump, and he never knew what he was going to do with it, and I bought that 51 Chevy, and he built, so the heartbeat of that car is the motor that I grew up in, which is just all this shit happening is unbelievable. Yeah. So yeah, we sent that out here. He's from Ohio, but Cody's got that in there. That's my story. Thanks for listening to it.